What then should happen? When God said, "Let there be light," there was light. Can you find light by analyzing darkness as the psychotherapist does? Or, like the theologian, by acknowledging darkness in yourself and looking for a distant light to remove it while emphasizing the distance? Healing is not mysterious. Nothing will change unless it is understood, since light is understanding. Analyzing the darkness of illusions is the ego's favorite ploy to keep us from choosing the light of truth. It makes an illusory world, fills it with illusory problems, and then counsels us to address these pressing issues of neuroses and sin. Since there are in truth no problems to be solved, the ego's shadowy world of guilt does not exist. We are perpetually engaged in a fruitless search for solutions that can never be found, the aforementioned maladaptive solutions to non-existent problems. The way to know the light is to accept its presence in the mind, coming to understand that it was never not there. A miserable sinner cannot be healed without magic, nor can an unimportant mind esteem itself without magic. In psychotherapy, the mind is deemed as unimportant. In fact, it is deemed as non-existent because only the brain is dealt with. When people speak of the mind, they most always mean an activity of the brain, as we have seen. Freud himself, near the end of his life, made the astonishing statement that at some point in the future, his theory of neuroses would be explained electrochemically, and it's neuroses, not neuroses. Yet the miracle of healing occurs only in the mind, the light-reflected solution of forgiveness to the dark problem of guilt. To focus on where the problem is, not a neurotic or sinful body, can only be magic, and God himself must be fooled if he has a plan to save his children from sin. Children, he claims, he still loves, though condemning them to sin. Both forms of the ego's approach then must arrive at an impasse, the characteristic impossible situation to which the ego always leads. Remember that the ego keeps our situations incapable of being solved, for that continually propels us to find ever more ingenious ways of solving them in the mindless world. Consider, for example, the multitude of catalogs that invade our mailboxes weekly, replete with products that make our life easier, more efficient, and exciting. Not to mention the proliferation of electronic gadgets presented to us for faster communication and entertainment. It may help someone to point out where he is heading, but the point is lost unless he is also helped to change his direction. The unhealed healer cannot do this for him, since he cannot do it for himself. In other words, it may be helpful to show people the ego nature of their thinking, but that does no good if we do not also help them change their direction, so they will return to their right minds. In this sense, to reiterate the important point, while Freud was brilliant in showing the world the chaotic insanity of the psyche, he could not see a way out. He did not know that the psyche itself, i.e., the wrong-minded thought system of guilt, was made up, fabricated by the decision-maker in alliance with the ego to ensure the son's mindlessness as defense against the seeming horror of his sinful mind. Without appreciation of the mind's power to choose the ego, there is no hope of attaining peace. In summary, the ego's plan of forgiveness and healing denies this power by obscuring the mind itself in clouds of thoughts, feelings, and experiences that are rooted in a neurotic or sinful past that can never be changed. We will return to the rest of the unhealed healer after we consider the Holy Spirit's true forgiveness.